I you know, I just would. I know a lot of city employees are concerned as well about the health care and their pensions. The city has made some changes back in 2014 where the pension system became a little bit more solvent. We have to continue to monitor that pension system to make sure that it stays solvent. I think with those changes that were made, if we continue to go down the path that we're going, it's going to be about 90% solvent. Pension system, public pension systems around the country are seeing that they're having problems with their unfunded liabilities. I think our latest either audit or the CAFR noted that there's an issue with the unfunded liabilities. We do have a plan right now that was put in place in 2014, and we also have to look at, or does that CAFR look at the long-term debt that we've done to do some of our bond capital projects. I'd also like to see us do a more robust job with our street repairs. Right now we're spending all of the $6 million in the swept coach franchise fee that we get. We could go out and leverage that $6 million to do a more robust street project, because a panel replacement here, a panel replacement there, by the time we get around to doing some more whole-scale work, those panels, we got to go back and fix what we just did. And so we also have to invest, as we're doing that work, utilize local companies, not companies that have set up a shell game to say that they're local, but individuals who are local, and do it within the requirements of the bid law. We're not asking anyone to go and break the bid laws. I'm also aware of the issues that are taking place with companies that come in and they lowball their bid, and they come back and they do change order after change order after change order, and it basically is pricing out some of our local contractors here, and that's not fair, and that's part of that ethics and integrity that we have to get a hold of with regard to our city contractor.
What can I guess I would like to, put it on the mind of the chamber again, to work with my administration, given I'm elected mayor of this city, in the economic development department that we'll build. You have a lot of tentacles in this community, and having you on board with a bunch of other stakeholders in our community, I think it's critical for us to genuinely grow the community overall, grow downtown, you name it. We have to work together. So I would hope the last thing is, again, to ask, for you all to just be prepared to work with me in the future.
Well, basically my qualifications for this particular job, okay? Shall I just tell you what I think they are? I am a civil engineer from the University of Texas. I have a BS in civil engineering. I have a master's and an MBA from Centenary College. I went through the Citizens Police Academy here in Shreveport. I also graduated from Leadership Shreveport. I am a licensed professional engineer in Louisiana, New York, in Mississippi, Texas, New Jersey, DC, Arkansas, Michigan, Indiana. I have participated in the minority programs, disadvantaged programs on the federal level, DBE, okay, minority business enterprise. And as I've stated, I worked at all levels of government. When I first graduated, my first job from the University of Texas was at the city of Shreveport. I was hired by E.J. French, okay. I worked for Child New York. I was director of planning. I worked in Rochester, New York as the manager of special projects. I've also, as I stated earlier, I worked for Caddo Parish as director of public works, and we did a lot of good things while I was there. I worked for New York State Department of Transportation, Louisiana Department of Transportation. I worked Hurricane Katrina, okay. When I worked Hurricane Katrina, I was in charge of 5,000 units to help people with their assisted living, 5,000 units. I was recruited while I was on that position when it was winding down to go work in the Middle East. I was asked to come and manage the infrastructure for Abu Dhabi. If you get the opportunity, look on the website, see what Abu Dhabi looks like. I'm not claiming responsibility for all of it. I was in charge of the infrastructure, okay? And my budget there was $1.5 billion per year. I also worked in Saudi Arabia. I'm a member of the American Society of Civil Engineers, Louisiana Society of Engineers, and the National Association of Black Engineers. So I have been exposed to a number of issues that have qualified me for this position. And I recognize talent in people. I know how to get things done.
No, I think you guys really covered it all, and I appreciate that. The questions, they were extremely good. One thing I love are questions, and because I think that all politicians, they are polished, and they're the nice, pretty speeches they've got. They rehearse, and they can get up there and they can just really talk great. But I think when you ask questions, I think direct questions like you guys have, and I love it. That I guess nobody knew what questions were, which is wonderful. I think that you probably find out, the heart of somebody and the knowledge of somebody, and I think that who you got and who you elect. So I appreciate the great questions.
No, I think I think the questions were very good. I think they were questions. Whoever made those things up, and really, I think they're so good that. Coming into here, I said, I think, what am I going to get out of this? Because every time I go, and if you are speaking or you're speaking, I'm always writing things down. Because I know that everywhere I learn, and everybody's got something to teach me, regardless of what they are. I'm not that proud, I'm not that humble, I'm not that ego-filled to say I can't learn something every day, because I think that's what God places us on this earth to do, is learn something from everybody and enhance the quality of life for everybody else. And so the questions are great. I appreciate you taking the time to do this as a public service, and give me the opportunity to share, some of those things in my, my vision for the city of Shreveport, which I hope every one of you, we will stay. I heard a good thing. Someone says, let's not pack, let's just take it back. So.
Well, I would like to say that I thank the people of Shreveport for giving me the opportunity to serve these 4 years. Even though we came in with a lot of challenges, we've seen a lot of progress. When you talk about bringing in $50 million to help us be able to have a better life for our people. When you think about fixing $58.6 million worth of streets so that people can have good streets to drive on. When you think about doing $180 million in water and sewer so that we can have a better sewer system. When you think about expanding 30 businesses and bringing in and touching bases with many, many more. Probably 50 or more companies, small businesses. When you talk about finding ways to be efficient in spending money so that you can reduce property taxes, 6.05 mils in 3 years. When you think about being able to utilize funding in a way whereby we can give our employees that really deserve a raise, a biggest raise they've had in a decade, and make sure that our police officers have the raise they deserve. We've recruited more than 130 new police officers in the past year and a half. We've given them the largest raise they've had since 2003. We've given raises to everybody except those making $75,000 and above, 5%. When you think about setting a minimum wage that's above the state level, we start our employees, if you have no training, it's $10.16 an hour. We set that even when the state couldn't get it done. And the list goes on. I've been very blessed to have a team that works. Now, I've had to change some of them, but for the most part, we set the expectation. And they know that honesty and integrity really mean a lot. And if they can't do it that way, then they can't work in this administration. And when we talk about being fair, being courteous, and responding to people, that's important. So going forward over the next 4 years, we want to maintain even a higher level. And we are going to grow this city. We've got to keep trying to build the pride. We've got to keep trying to pull people together, even though sometimes partisan politics play into it. But we'll find a way to make people understand that when you come together, you can make some amazing things happen for your community, because I truly believe we all want the same things. We want to be safe. We want to have economic opportunity. We want to have a thriving city. And so that's what our vision is going to be going forward continuously, and we're going to get there.